So welcome back to our class. Please tell others to join quickly, okay? Yes. Shubho Bijoya to all of you all.
হ্যাঁ ম্যাম শুভ বিজয় প্রণাম।
শুভ বিজয়।
Yes. Shubho Bijoya to all of you all. Yes, students. So we are once again back. Yesterday I couldn't take the class. I was still now I'm having very high viral fever. And the entire family is having viral fever. I don't know what kind of a virus, but this is not COVID. I underwent a COVID test, but COVID has come negative. It is a viral fever, but virus of a very bad type. Total, infected with throat infection, cannot speak properly. Fever, sometimes, I mean, almost, from evening there's fever 102 to 103 degree, and this is being persistent for the last 3 days. Anyways, consulted Apollo Clinic. They said that this will take time. This kind of virus is some very bad virus, and many people are getting affected due to this weather change and this transition time. Anyways, okay. So let us be back. I might sometimes my voice, I might face some problem with voice issue. So please bear up, students, okay? Because my throat has got a very bad infection. Clear? So sometimes I might face problem. So please don't mind. Just bear up. Today I will be doing the self-concept, self-esteem, self-efficacy. Okay. Now people's attempt to should I wait another 1 or 2 minutes for the others to join? Are people joining? Okay, so today I will be doing with the self-concept, self-esteem and self-efficacy. Clear? Now, people's attempt, now what is self-concept? We have often come across the term self-concept, but we usually, we fail to understand what is it actually. That we fail. So today our point of discussion will be, what is actually self-concept? What is self-esteem? What is the difference between self-esteem and self-efficacy? Clear? So these terms are very important. You will require it in your near future also, when you will be joining any organization as a trainer, internship, when you will be undergoing an internship or as an employee. These are high-tech corporate terms. Now, what are the desired personality characteristics for effective managers? This will also be our topic of discussion for today. What are the qualities actually a manager should possess? Often this question I raise in mock interviews also. Whenever I take mock interview, I often raise this question. What are the qualities you expect from a manager? Very important. So this answer. So first let us do this. Okay, the desired personality characteristics for effective managers. What are the qualities effective manager should possess? So first let us do the self-concept, self-esteem and self-efficacy. Then we will come back, get back and come back to desired personality characteristics for effective managers. Now self-concept. Am I clearly audible to all of you students? Is it okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Fine. So let me continue. The self-concept, people's attempt to understand themselves is called the self-concept in personality theory. Once again, I repeat, people's attempt to understand themselves, what they are, who they are, how they should behave, what are the qualities they should actually showcase before people, before speaking to others, before presenting themselves to others, what are the qualities they should hide before presenting to others. These are the things which actually determines the self-concept. Clear? So the human self is made of many interacting parts and may be thought of as the personality viewed from within. This self is particularly relevant to the concepts of self esteem and self efficacy in the field of organizational behavior. Whenever you're behaving in the organization, people's self esteem has to do with their self perceived competence and self image. Clear? Self esteem is that self perceived competence, whatever you are perceiving from your own, whatever you're achieving on your own, that is the self perceived competence and self image. This is what, what self esteem is all about. Considerable research has been done on the role played by self esteem outcomes in the organizational behavior. Most recently done studies indicate that self esteem plays an important moderating role in the areas of emotional and behavioral responses and stress of organizational members. It was recently noted that both research and everyday experience, that is, day to day experience, confirm that employees with high self esteem feel unique, competent, secure, empowered, and connected to the people around them. So, people with self esteem, that is, whoever are very confident people, confident about their roles, confident about their work, their competency level, confident about their efficiency, they feel more empowered and connected to the people around them. This was all about self esteem. Now comes the self efficacy. Self efficacy is concerned with self perceptions of how well a person can cope with situations as they arise. Those with high self efficacy level feel capable and confident of performing well in a situation. In the field of organizational behavior, self efficacy is conceptually close to self esteem. Minor points out the differences. There are very minor points which brings out the differences by noting that self-esteem tends to be generalized trait. It will be present in any situation, while self-efficacy tends to be situation specific. Self-efficacy has been shown to have empirical relationship with organizational performance and other dynamics of organizational behavior. Clear? So this is all about self-efficacy. Now the personality theories. One of the most important things about individual behavior is its consistency. That is, certain characteristics pursued over a period of time in the behavior of given person and is revoked by situation resembling each other, and certain characteristics tend to be associated with one another. Now, there is a historical theory of personality. Historical theories are mainly stated by Freud, 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 we know, Freudian psychology, one of the all-time eminent psychologists. So he has stated the psychoanalytic theory. Clear? According to Freud, human mind is composed of three elements: preconscious level, conscious, unconscious. According to him, the conscious element is concerned with thoughts, feelings, desires, and unconscious component is basically related with ideas and wishes that cannot be learned through introspection. This theory has had an enormous impact on psychological and philosophical conceptions of people. The Freudian psychology. Even when we were in our masters, at the master's level, we had a complete paper devoted to Freud psychology, Freudian psychology, psychology of human mind. Clear? Carl Jung, another famous, next to Freud, comes the Carl Jung, Carljung, a colleague of Freud, believed in a collective unconscious, in the personality deeper and not unknown for the person than the personal unconscious of. It includes the cumulative experiences of all part generation, even those of primitive ancestors. For work or introversions and extroversions are the two opposing attitudes existing in people. Clear? The two opposite things that should exist in people. Now, the self theory. Self theory contains the self concept. The self concept is actually contained in the self theory. Clear? The self theory. Now, what is the self theory all about? The self theory actually states that, you know, it according to the self theory, every human being is an organized constant. Their mind is an organized constant part. The self is that the individual believes what he is and strives to be concerting of perception, learning, motivation, which together form a unique world. Clear? The me represents social self. The me, me within single inverted comma, represents the social self. The me is the way a person appears to others and the way he thinks he appears to others. In that, in that other half of the self, a person's self-concept gives him the sense of meaningfulness, and according to this theory of self, and that is according to Carl Jung's theory, a person's self-concept gives him the sense of meaningfulness, clear, and also the accuracy level of himself, and thereby subsequent same consistency. The person's self-concept will have a direct effect on his behavior. The person's self-concept will have a direct effect on his behavior. Clear? So many self-theories call themselves as phenomenologists. Phenomenologists, since they viewed the individual and his environment as phenomena. Clear? Okay, understood. Now, Rogers, Siug, and Cowles and Marla have been called existential psychologists because they emphasize being rather their copying and adjusting. Now, learning theory. It looks upon personality as more or less integrated collection of habits, but the way in which these habits are acquired, operate, and disappear is specified by them in terms of such concepts as derive, reinforcement, conditioning, extinction, generalization, discrimination. Experts often prove that many of these trends or attributes are learned. They are not actually inherited or they are inculcated, but they are learned things. Social learning theory. In learning theories on personality development, the emphasis is on the effects of reinforcement. In the learning theory, emphasis is mainly on the effects of reinforcement, reward, punishment on behavior. Understood, students? This is in learning theories. On personality development, the main emphasis is on the effects of reinforcement, reward, punishment on behavior. In social learning, the emphasis is on the identification and imitation. Children come to identify with the parents of being punished for doing. Learning of socially acceptable patterns of behavior. The behavior that is imitated may include many things such as action of social values, gestures, habits, attitude. Understood till here? Now the biological theories of personality development. Now this is very important. The biological theories have developed from two different sets of research. Ethnological theory describes the ways in which members of a given species, say human beings, develop common characteristics as a result of evolution. Behavior, genetics describe how an individual's unique gene structure affects personality development. This is where sometimes, I mean not always, but sometimes we have seen that how the humans Genetic gene structure or the genetic structure affects personality development. For example, if you see that there are some people who are very alcoholic, in all cases, but we have seen that even the next generation sometimes gets the ability or the tendency. But once again, I repeat, not always the case. But sometimes genetically they imbibe. Sometimes we see that there are some fathers who are very rugged and very rigid type and very short tempered. Usually their son or daughter also tends to imbibe and inherit as a result of the genetic perception the character. Clear? Now the 5 big personality dimensions. What are the 5 big personality dimensions? The 5 big personality after almost a century of research. Personality psychologists largely agree that 5 dimensions can describe human personality. Clear? What are they? Number 1 is agreeableness. Clear? Extroversion, emotional stability, conscientiousness, openness to experience. These are the 5 big personality dimensions. Once again, I repeat, extroversion, emotionals, and extroversion sometimes high or low. All these characteristics are all these the 5 personality dimensions which I have stated. They have the 5 major things, either high or low. Clear? Yes. So extroversion also. Those who are highly extrovert, they are talkative, active, very social, assertive, gregarious. Clear? And a person with low extrovertedness, reserved, quiet, introverted. Second one, emotional stability. Person with high emotional stability, very high emotional stability, they are calm, relaxed, secure. Again, in contrary, person with low emotional stability, worried, depressed, anxious, insecure, angry, embarrassed. The third big personality dimension, agreeableness. Person with high agreeableness, cooperative, tolerant, good-natured, trusting, courteous, caring. A person with very low, just the opposite. Clear? Understood? The conscientiousness. Person with very high conscientiousness. They are dependable, thorough, organized, responsible, playful, achievement-oriented, hardworking. And person with low conscientious level, sloppy, careless, inefficient. Now, openness to experience. Person who are open to high experiences, those people who have a high affinity. So, openness to experience, curious, intelligent, broad-minded, creative, imaginative, cultured, and person with a low one, simple, unimaginative, and unconventional. Clear? Students, are you understanding till here? Did you understand, all of you?
Yes, sir.
Clear, great. Okay. Now, yes. Now the types and categories of attitudes. In a broader sense, there are 3 attitudes: positive attitude, negative attitude, and neutral attitude. Positive attitude is the one which concerns on the positive outcome of the task or problem in hand. Negative attitude is the one which concerns on the negative outcome of the task or problem in hand. But in general, an attitude is what is expressed through. Clear? And a neutral one, neither hyper, neither very low, a mediocre one. Clear? Okay. Now, utilitarian. People adopt attitudes that are rewarding and that help them to avoid punishment. In other words, any attitude that is adopted in a person's own self-interest is considered to serve a utilitarian function. Consider you have a condo. That is a kind of a condominium or a meeting. Clear? People, or you say that you have a very a condo has got condo has got several layers of meaning. It also refers to huge properties, condos, condos. Clear? That is, people with condos pay property taxes. The condominiums, they are all big houses. Clear? So people need to maintain an organized, meaningful, and stable view of the world. That being said, important values and general principles can provide a framework for our knowledge. Ego defensive. Attitude has to be utilitarian. Attitude has to be knowledgeable. Attitude has to be ego defensive. This function involves psychoanalytic principles where people use defense mechanisms to protect themselves from psychological harm. Mechanisms include denial, repression, projection, rationalization. What are the mechanisms which human beings include in their personality or in their characteristic traits to protect themselves? That is denial. You have done something, but you're completely denying. You're denying for the sake of protecting your own self. Repression, you're trying to repress certain things. Projection, you're trying to project or highlight certain things. And rationalization. Clear? And attitude also has to be value expressive. Attitude has to be a good attitude serves to express one's central values and self-concept. Central values tend to establish our identity and gain us social approval theory by showing us who we are and what we stand for. An example would concern attitudes toward a controversial political issue. Value expressive is used to express central values or beliefs. Attitudes achieve this goal by making things fit together and make sense. Yeah. Now I was talking about the desired personality characteristics for effective managers. Very important. What are the very often a question comes at the time of mock interview. What are the qualities an effective manager possesses in an organization? Because even you people are supposed to be would-be managers in your future. So you need to develop and indicate these qualities for gaining managerial status. Obviously, there are some personality predispositions which are favorable to managerial effectiveness and to the success of managers. What predispositions? Apart from possessing the necessary skills and abilities, managers need to develop a high tolerance for ambiguity. Very important. Managers need to develop high tolerance level for ambiguity. Ambiguity for heterogeneous attitudes and heterogeneous nature of various heterogeneous people. People are not the same. Team members are not always the same. They are all heterogeneous minded, heterogeneous attitudes, heterogeneous personality. So a manager should develop a high tolerance level. There are many changes taking place in the internal and the external environment of an organization. Naturally, several unpredictable factors are involved in any complex situation which are beyond the manager's control. Therefore, they should be able to handle situations as they come without experiencing undue stress. Thus, a high tolerance for power will be successful in most situations. This is because they will have the drive to achieve the goals and the interpersonal orientation to get the job done through others. In sales and other people-oriented roles, extrovert managers will fit better in their jobs. Similarly, managers with internal locus of control will be more efficient as intellectual than skilled performers. Managers with good work ethic values, that is ethical values, will get more involved in their jobs and make things happen. They are likely to be more successful in their jobs. Managers with good personalities may suit very well for the same jobs, which have inbuilt performance pressures and deadlines, but they need to know how to relax through exercises and self monitor their stress level. So managers should have the efficiency and the potentiality to monitor their own self, monitor their stress level, monitor their conflict resolutions. Clear? Develop the potentiality to take quick decisions. Decision making activity also, that competency, decision making competency level also has to be there in a good manager. Personality is a relatively stable factor, but our predispositions can be changed through conscious choice. For instance, our tolerance for ambiguity and ability to handle stress can be considerably enhanced. The attributions we make for success, such as internal versus external locus of control, can be changed. Also, our latent needs can be activated, and our skills in decision making can be increased through training programs and by deliberately making the necessary changes. Recognizing the essential ingredients for managerial success is the first step towards making the changes. So you understood, these are the desired personality characteristics for effective managers. Understood, students, all of you, till here? Did you all understand? Students?
Yes, ma'am.
All of you all understood till here? Okay. Now, the components of attitude. Attitude has three components, students. Clear? What are the three components of attitude? Affective component, AFFECTIVE. Affective component, cognitive component, and intentional component. Affective component, cognitive component, and intentional component. A person's attitude comprises of three components, namely affective, cognitive, and overt. This intentional is called overt, OVERT. The affective or feeling component refers to the emotions associated with an attitude object. It basically consists of the feeling a person has toward an attitude object. The cognitive component represents the beliefs of a person about an attitude object. Cognitive component is very important and consists of the individual's perceptions, beliefs, ideas about an object. The overt component is concerned with the way one tends to behave toward a particular attitude object. Both the affective and cognitive components, feeling and beliefs, influence the way a person intends to behave towards an attitude object. An attitude has three separate but related parts. Clear? The affective component of an attitude reflects feelings and emotions that an individual has towards a situation. The cognitive component of an attitude is derived from knowledge that an individual has about a situation. Finally, the intentional component of an attitude reflects how an individual affects to behave towards the situation. For example, different components of an attitude help towards a firm which supplies interior products. This is we are talking about a case study. So, suppose if an individual is having this kind of an attitude, I don't like that company. What kind of Attitude is this, is an affective component. The worst supply firm I have ever dealt with, cognitive. Why? Applying the cognitive level in judging the quality of the product. And then I will never do business with them again. That is, this is intentional or overt component. So understood these things? This is how the attitude in an organization, actually depends and develops. Okay, now a manager has to keep in mind the following factors. What are the factors a effective manager in an organization has to keep in mind? That is the characteristics of the communicator. This includes the status and prestige, whether the manager is attractive and liked. So the characteristics of the communicator. The second thing that a manager has to keep in mind is the method of communication. This is another important factor in attitude change. The communication should be easy and convincing so that it creates a change without any discomfort. The third, the characteristics of the target. The most important factor influencing the attitude change is the degree of commitment of the employee. Degree of commitment of the employee is the target to the initial attitude. Moreover, an openly stated attitude is more difficult to change because the person concerned has already shown commitment. And the last thing is the situational factors. The situational factors play a greater role in influencing the change in attitude of an individual. However, one picks up the message apart. The most important part is the situation or the prevailing context. So you understood till here, students, what are the qualities a manager of an organization should possess? These are the qualities a manager of an organization should possess. And this is how he should behave with other employees of the organization, with all the teammates and the team players. Clear? Understood the attitude part which is taught to you today? Any difficulty, students, in understanding the attitude part, the attitude and the character formation which I have taught today, which you have delivered today? Any difficulty anywhere, please feel free to clarify. Clear? Any difficulty? Students, you can unmute yourself and you can raise your questions. So this is all for today. I will not proceed any further because we are really progressing a lot in this paper. Very few questions are left and that will complete very quickly, and then we will have discussions on long questions and MCQs and everything. So today I will not progress. I mean, this is all for today. I will not further give any further lectures. I will not begin with any new chapter today. I mean, what was taught today is till here, this part, this module about attitudes, about characteristics of a manager, the attitudes, the nature. So students, can you, some of you can unmute yourself and you can raise questions. Any difficulty? So how were your pujas? Did you all enjoy? Did you go for pandal hopping?
Not at all, ma'am.
So all of you were very restrained. You all stayed back at home. All of you were at home.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Mostly of us.
Very good, very good. I just did one blunder, and that has made all the difference. You know, caught with this very bad virus. That is on Shoptami. I went out for lunch at Stadel, and there were people. You know, there was a lot of pre-booking. You know, done by our friends. So I thought that there won't be that much crowd, but there was a huge crowd, and you know, thank God. I mean, that has made, and from that night itself, from Shoptami night itself, I was caught with that this kind of a viral infection, throat. At least today I can speak, but for last 1 week I couldn't even speak. Not a single word, were audible from my mouth. So that was very, I don't know, but it's not COVID actually. I went through COVID test. Immediately my doctor prescribed me, but they said it's a very bad type of a virus because you have ample viruses in the nature, and it's a very bad type of a virus that I've got with. My entire family is got. Then my daughter is really suffering. I don't know. I mean, her condition is very critical. So at least we could combat. We have got, good immunity power, so at least we can combat. But my mother, she has come to my place just to stay for 3 or 4 days, and she's also infected with this. And the main carrier is, I feel so guilty, the main carrier is me. I started in my family. And that was because I didn't go for pandal shopping, but all of a sudden, very old friends of us, they came every year, they come all from some staying in Bangalore and Hyderabad, and we unite. And we just went for lunch, and that has made all the difference. Everyone, I mean, all my friends are caught with this very bad type of virus. But that's not COVID. I mean, this is so unusual. I mean, anyways, so this is all for today, dear students. Clear? So understood, all of you all? Any difficulty? Please raise questions. I'm there to clarify. Any way that you didn't understand today's lecture, you can please feel free to answer. Is it all that you understood today? And also you can go back through the lecture which Rupam has done the recording. That is so good of him. And y'all can go and once again y'all can have a repeat teaching method being practiced. So just go through it. Anywhere, any difficulty, you can always answer. And the notes and all, I had my mind that during the pujas I'm going to complete, and as soon as the college reopens after the pujas, I'll be handing over. But alas, I'm undone. I need a little bit of more time to hand over. So really turned very, very weak. I mean, I was wondering whether at all I'll be able to take class today. But anyway, by God's grace, at least I can speak out. Okay. So students, please just bear up, and any difficulty. And yesterday's class, I'll see if I can manage, not this week. If not this week, next week, somewhere I'll try to place it. Okay. After I get well little bit, then we'll have the lab also. So next week, coming Tuesday's lab, we'll have it as usual from 3:30 to 5:30, the way we have it, because I need to send the sessional marks also, and normal theory classes. But yesterday's class, I'll see whether I can put it somewhere in the next week. Additional class, which you missed yesterday, because I really don't like missing classes of my students. Clear? So any difficulties, students? And please, for heaven's sake, stay back at home, because the time is so bad, and this is a transition time. It's the season is changing. There's a transition. You have not only COVID virus, but there are n number of very, very bad virus that is affecting the health, and it's just bringing you down like anything. So is my case. We are all very down. Can't even I can't even get up from my bed properly. That is the thing. I mean, having so much of weakness, excessive. So please stay back at home and do your studies, do your research work. And any difficulty, always please feel free to call us. All faculties, we are all there with you all. We are almost ready with our cell phones in answering to your queries. Okay. You can also email us. Clear? Okay. Any difficulty? Shomo, Shayanto, Rupam?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am. it's okay.
আজকে যেখানে পড়ানো হলো কোনো জায়গায় ঋতুপর্ণা, সৃজা, তন্ময়, সাকুইব, Sushmita, understood all of you all? Vicky, Shraddha?
Yes, ma'am.
You could get everything? Okay, fine then. So please bear up and go through the lecture through YouTube. Go through the lecture once again, not only once but thrice. I mean, as many times as you can. Just go through the lectures and see where you didn't understand. Even the previous ones, the previous lectures that were taught to you all, please go through them. Is it okay? All the previous things that were taught to you before the pujas. So after, I mean, in my next class, there will be a prerequisite. I will raise questions also to you all. And then I'll be beginning with a new module. Is it okay, students?
Yes, ma'am.
Fine. So, okay, so let's call it a day. Thank you so much for bearing. Thank you, all of you. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am.